My mother was a therapist, and she used to talk about her patients not in any identifying way, but she had a real interest in communicating to my sister and me that smart you could be really smart and really really stupid at the same time. And she was particularly um, eager to instill in us the idea that charm charm in a man and a woman, but in her practice, mostly in men, could be a very, very dangerous thing. So she would tell us over dinner, I have this client, she's beautiful, she went to Harvard, she's a CEO, she makes millions of dollars a year, she's got thousands of people working for her, and she has married somebody who is cheating on her, stealing from her, lying to her. Don't be like that. So, I mean, these were things that we all kind of hashed out over the dinner table. So Grace is not my mother, but she's a tough love therapist like my mother was. As you may have noticed, these characters in the novel are all Jewish. In the TV show, they were not. That's another story. But I mean, Reinhardt and Sachs are both German Jewish names. They really belong to that aristocracy of Jews in America that I alluded to earlier with the White Rose, where a character is a warbird, which is basically like the Astor of Jewish American families. So the Reinhardt and the Sachs, he's a Sachs, she's a Reinhardt. This kind of identifies them as, you know, these are not shtetl Jews. These are German Jews who were here before the great wave of immigrants came. My own family is divided between German Jews and Jews from Belarus who came much later, were much poorer. So I'm a mixed marriage. I come from a mixed marriage. Grace is the kind of thing that a Jewish family would name their daughter. I mean, by the time Grace is born, they're not, Sadie's and Hannah's, and they've co-opted some of these less ethnic names. Maybe if I were patient enough or, you know, willing to do that kind of work, I would sit down and write 20 pages about the character before I wrote the first chapter. But I've always had to kind of get to know these people as I wrote them. That's why the first chapters are the hardest, because you don't know who these people are. You don't know what they look like. You don't know anything about them. And here they are already on the page, sort of talking. And you may well have to go back and make changes later on when you know these people better. So I have never been an outliner. I know people find that very hard to believe with the plot in particular. Um, it means you have to adjust as you go along. All I can say is it works for me. I mean, I just read Anna Quinlan's book about writing, which is called Write for Your Life. And she basically, I was very happy to see her do this. She takes on this whole thing about process. What's your process? What's your process? A question, by the way, that nobody ever asked us until the first time I was asked, I remember it perfectly, it was 2011. Until 2011, nobody ever asked me what my process was. But she says in her book, Write for Your Life, the only process that matters is the one that gets the words on the page. Everything else is just set design. Whatever candle you want to light or whatever ritual you might have, none of it matters. If it makes you feel good, do it. But if you get the words on the page, it's working.